Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to Greater Day Cafe. Listen, I'm so excited to come to you once again for this 15-minute segment. The title of this 15-minute segment is The Great Investment. And you're going to know why I've titled The Great Investment in just a few minutes. I've got some pretty people here with me today for our show. We're going to be spending our time, the bulk of our time, however, talking with Miss Janet Daigle. She is the president of the Brandon chapter, right? Yes. In Brandon, Florida. She's the president of the Brandon chapter of the Kiwanis Club. And I know some of you have heard about the Kiwanis Club. It's been around for some time. It's not brand new. But she's going to bring us some fresh insight on the great investment. What's the great investment? Kids. The young people.
Yes.
So, yes, it's the great investment. If you're not investing in the young people, if you're not investing in the youth, if you're not investing in the next generation, and it doesn't mean that everybody has to be hands-on, but it does mean that we all need to play our part. If you're not hands-on, you need to support it. So we're going to talk about all the fascinating things that you all are doing at the Kiwanis Club. Yay!
Yeah, great. Thank you.
And Jorgie is sitting next to you. We know Jorgie is a member of the Kiwanis Club with you out in Brandon. So we're going to chat a little bit, and then Bishop is going to throw his own little heart version to what we say towards the end. So tell us some things that you all are doing, investing in the youth. What do you have going there?
Well, we have a lot of projects in our own small club. We're a club, we're up to about 46 now. Jorgie's one of our newer members.
Hi,
she is dynamic, which a lot of our members are dynamic.
Yes.
And what we want to do is make a difference in children's lives.
Yes.
If we make a difference in children's lives, we're making a difference in the community.
Absolutely.
So that's where our investment is in the kids. Our club is one of 80 nations have clubs.
Wow.
There's 7,500 in the world, but we are the Kiwanis Club of Greater Brandon, and one of the biggest projects we do is, or service that we do, is the Terrific Kids program. If you've seen the bumper stickers that say, "My kid is a terrific kid," that's us. We sponsor that program.
Those. Now, where did that idea come about? And I'm drinking water as you're talking because I'm working through little asthma stuff. So where did that come from?
I'm not really sure where it came from. Kiwanis has been around for 100 years. This is our 100th year anniversary.
Wow.
But Terrific Kids has been a part of many of the Kiwanis clubs. And it is actually to encourage character development among children. And so we are in 23 schools in the Brandon area. And once a month, our volunteers go, and the children from pre-K all the way through 5th grade, each classroom, the teacher, sometimes the peers, choose a child who is the Terrific Kid of the Month based on the characteristics. The characteristics spell out terrific. So thoughtful might be one. Responsible might be one, with the letters that spell out terrific.
Very nice.
And these aren't always your top of the class A students. These are children who are trying hard that maybe didn't get recognized in other venues.
Kids like me where it didn't come easy.
That's right. That's right.
Didn't come easy,
but who were trying and maybe were very kind to somebody else.
And
so
God knows I tried. I really did.
Well, these children, it's a wonderful experience to go to the school. We hand out a certificate, and you would think these certificates were made of gold because they mean so much to the children. And then the bumper stickers, which the parents can display on the back of theirs.
But you know why it means so much to the children? Because everybody wants to be valued.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know that they count. Everybody wants to know that they matter. And what I like about what you just described, it wasn't some big multi-million-dollar project.
No.
It's really something that multiple organizations can do. It won't hurt to replicate some of this stuff because the more we tell our young people that they are of value, the more they respond to that. We've talked about it before on, I think, maybe a previous show, the self-fulfilling prophecy. So that if you continue to tell a person time and time again, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, at some point they believe that and they fulfill that prophecy that you've given to them. But if you reiterate, you can do it, you can do it, I'm going to help you, you can try, you're good at that. That's what this program to me is saying in response to character building and so forth. Now, Jorgie, is this one of the programs that you work with as well, or what part of this do you participate in?
Well,
So far, I have participated in.
Wait, hold on. I love the way you went into that. You're such a professional. You're like,
She
well,
is.
so far.
We have weekly meetings, and being part of such a great team, we discuss ways to raise funds for the different programs that we have.
It takes money.
It takes money, and we encourage one another to volunteer. And I went to Gibsonton Elementary, and the name of that program is the Project Smile.
Project Smile.
And we brought food for the children who were in need of food to eat throughout the weekend. Because what I didn't realize is that there are a lot of children in the Brandon area who struggle for food during the weekend.
And we've seen that nationwide. We hear people talking about in different parts of the country how it's hard to teach a child when the child shows up hungry. And it's really a little bit of an indictment on us as Americans because we've got plenty of resources, number one. And it's not a new problem. I mean, I remember this being a concern back in the 70s when we were talking about the Marva Collins School, for example, if anybody remembers that. These are some of the same components that we were dealing with. Hungry children coming to school. How can you educate them when they're hungry? So Project Smile addresses that.
Yes, and that was so exciting. Tell them more.
Because well, I will. It started, actually this is only our 4th year of Project Smile. And we were working at Gibsonton Elementary with the Terrific Kids program, with a Bookworks program, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I found out, well, several people did, that several of these children, the only meals they got were the free or reduced breakfast and lunch at school.
When they went home, you're saying something that we've talked about years and years ago, and it's still happening. Wow.
1 in 4 children in Hillsborough County goes hungry. And when we found out that these children were going home for the weekend and didn't have food, my husband works for Mosaic, so we partnered with Mosaic, who provides a grant, and Feeding Tampa Bay, which used to be Feeding America, it's now Feeding Tampa Bay, provides the food. And then 37 Fridays, every Friday of the school year, we go to Gibsonton, and we have volunteers from Mosaic, from Kiwanis. Engineers, teachers, everything.
They all come
out. We come and we send 100, we're up to 176. We started with 100 children.
Nice.
We send them home with a bag of food, which would feed a family of 4 for the weekend. So they take these home. And I do have to say, we call it Project Smile, not because of the smile on the children's faces, but because of the volunteers who leave there with a smile. When you see a child look at you and realize he's going to, or she is going to get that bag of food. I've heard some of them say, oh, my grandmother, got to eat this bread last week. Publix actually donates a lot of the bread. And
Thank you, Publix.
Yes, thank you. And they'll say, oh gosh, my grandmother really got to eat this. And so it's very rewarding for all of us volunteers, but at the same time, it's wonderful to see the children.
This is fascinating. I love it.
And I'm very proud of the fact that we're going into our 4th year, and we've been able to increase. The Gibsonton is actually a Renaissance school. 97% of the children are on free or reduced lunch.
97%.
97%. And we could go up to probably 600, 575 children, but of course we're at 176, so our goal each year is to raise it and to hopefully find some grants to support it even better so we can feed the children, but it is wonderful.
So individuals that are watching our segment,
yes,
how can they, if they want to volunteer, or if they want to donate, if they want to collaborate, business owners or what have you, where do they go to figure out how to be a part? Volunteer, donate, collaborate, something.
The best place to start is with our Kiwanis Club, because it is our Kiwanis project. And in any way, we have our website, we have our it is, this is a test, isn't it? BrandonKiwanis.com. And they are welcome to volunteer. It's really kind of like a social event on Fridays. It's quite the party because we pack the food. They send us the big pallets, and the food is cryovac, and then we have to put them in the bags, and then the bread in the bags, and it is quite an endeavor. And so we also are always looking for a resource as far as a grant, because of course the grant pays for the money with Tampa Bay, Feeding America Tampa
Grant
Bay.
people,
So
you
if
hear
anybody's
that?
out there would like to be involved in a grant, that was great. So
I love it. I love it.
Another project, and I think when Jorgie started talking about Project Smile, when we first really heard about the need for these children who are food challenged, we do a program called Bookworks where we partner with Goodwill.
Nice.
And volunteers go to schools. I believe we are in 13 schools.
Okay.
And we go once a month. Goodwill provides the books.
Oh, good.
A new book for each child. This is pre-K,
Nice.
Head Start children, and the exceptional education children.
Is there a particular Goodwill? So if books are donated
Yes,
at the Goodwill in Brandon?
Well, I don't know how they do it. We do it through Goodwill Industries Incorporated in, I believe they're in Clearwater or St. Pete.
Okay, okay.
But certainly, they provide the books for us.
Very
These
good.
books are brand new. They look brand
Wow,
new. They are
awesome.
Dr. Seuss, your Clifford books. These
Green
are
eggs and ham.
Green eggs and ham. I just gave out 3 of those yesterday. So, and the one thing I'm very proud of that we do is we do the exceptional education pre-K. The basis of it is that if we can get these children interested in books, loving reading when they're early. And for some of these children, it's the only book they've ever owned.
And you're starting a pattern. And this is what I want to interject, and then we're going to go to Bishop to hear some of his heart thoughts about the great investment. You know, when we talk about literacy rates, it's not that kids, quote unquote, can't read or start off not being able to read. It's that they haven't been introduced to it. So if, once again, going back to what you talked about earlier, if a child is hungry, how you gonna get a kid to read?
Yes.
I'm hungry. I want to read, especially read Green Eggs and Ham. I'm hungry. I want some eggs and ham, right? And if we don't think that resources make a difference, I always say, watch the movie Blind Side. And I know there might be some Hollywood, you know, components to that, but at the end of the day, my students, even at the college we talk about, all it took was one thing: hire a tutor. That's it, for the most part. Hire a tutor, which costs money, and then that tutor, of course, you know, follows through, and it makes a big difference. You know what? I want to thank you for the work that you all are doing. You are making the great investment. That's what you're doing. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes. I want your heart. Just throw your heart as you normally
Come on,
do.
Bishop.
You know, what do you think about what we've said?
I think that investing in our children is one of the greatest investments we can make. American complaints about kids on the street corners, to violence, to crime, but how much are we doing to invest in our kids? How much are the states doing to invest in our educational system? How much money are we paying our teachers? We trust our kids to our teachers every day to teach and instruct them, but we don't value them. We don't pay them enough. So I think, and the reward is that when you invest in your child, when you invest in these children, the reward is that they will become productive citizens of our country. I remember some years ago, I created a bus ministry. I picked up kids from the inner city, and we brought them to the church, we fed them, we clothed them, and years later, the reward was to seeing a group of kids that I mentored come in with a group of their own kids now that they're mentoring and remember the love. So the investment is to take the time to invest in our kids, invest in our school system, invest in programs that are helping our kids. You know, I gotta go scripture,
That's
okay?
fine, go ahead.
Jeremiah, God said to Jeremiah, before you were ordained, I knew thee. And Jeremiah says, well, I'm not a prophet, I can't do this. And in paraphrasing, God says to Jeremiah, say what I say about you. Our kids will demonstrate what we think about them. If we have no value in them, then they will produce that. If we belittle them, if we have see them as not being worth anything, then they will reproduce it in their daily lives. So we have an opportunity to change our world. We can change our world through our kids. We've lost several generations, as we all know. We've lost them. It's hard to get them back. But you can start right now in kindergarten, schools, taking the time to invest in our kids. In order to do that, we got to invest in our school systems. There's no need for any child to be hungry. There's no need for any child to not have all the tools he needs to educate ourselves. You know, foreign countries are beginning to be big on education. We are falling behind on educating our kids and investing in our kids and sowing into our kids. Our kids are our most important commodity that we can have. Investing in our kids, we will change our future. We will create the next generation of scientists. I was listening to the program before. We need lawyers, we need doctors, we need scientists, we need these entrepreneurs. We need people to use the power of their mind. But how can they use the power of their mind if we are not training them and teaching them to think outside the box? Because when a child loses hope, when a child loses hope in himself, and lose hope in the system, then he becomes self-destructive. He began to sabotage his life. He'll wind up on the street corner selling drugs and is everywhere doing things that even himself is not pleased at doing. But he no other choice because we haven't given them a choice.
So
Wisdom.
we're all responsible.
We're all responsible. We need to invest in our kids. America, our Governor Scott, you know, listen, everybody. We need to invest in our kids.
I was gonna say, man, I ain't want nobody emailing us.
That's okay. I'm a little radical today, okay? I got some broad shoulders, okay? I got broad shoulders, okay?
60 seconds and we'll close out.
I have a tendency to speak my mind and take people off because I try to be very nice on the program, you know. But this is the very important subject we're talking about. Our kids. These are our kids. You can't expect our neighboring countries to invest in our kids. In fact, there's a country, Turkey, is courting our PhD graduates to bring them over to Turkey to teach their people. They're big on education now. What are we doing? And they're paying our people to come over there and teach. How are we paying our PhD graduates? How are we paying our college graduates? You know what I mean? How are we paying our teachers that spend years to learn?
Email me, I'll tell you how they paying us.
You see what I'm saying? We're lowballing our teachers.
Yes, we are.
You know, if you want a person to feel their value, then you have to show them value. You have to put value in what they're doing. And our kids our most valuable resource that we have. They're the ones that will create a new future for America and for the world that we live in. And this is where, whatever country you're in, we need to invest in our children.
I love
our children will reproduce. We reproduce the things that we speak into them.
Wow.
If you value our kids,
then
if we show them self-worth,
they'll reproduce that.
They'll reproduce that.
Love it. We invest more, everybody knows this, we invest more into our sports, sports coaches, at major institutions. Of course, the athletic coaches make more than the professors. That's all I'll say about that. Listen, I love you. Thank you for listening to another segment of the Greater Day Cafe, and do your part to be sure that you are participating in the great investment, our babies. Bye. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Oh, that was so good. How true. You know, I was thinking we